Well, what is going on, everybody? Welcome everybody into NFL Week 13 of Mafia Bets on the Overreaction Buffalo Sports Network, presented by FanDuel. This is a Bills Mafia-based sports betting show where we'll talk to you about the Buffalo Bills matchup tomorrow, Sunday, give you the ins, the outs, the whys, the why nots for this week's betting lines and matchups, why you should either hammer a bet or stay as far away from one as you possibly can. My name is Joe Miller, and you can find me on Twitter at Joe Miller Wired, alongside my co-host, our sports betting professional, Dan Frederick. You can find him on Twitter at Buffalo Freddy. Please do us a favor. Please like, please subscribe, whatever platform you are consuming this presentation on right now, whether live with us on YouTube or in podcast form before the game start on Sunday. Please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, all that good stuff. It's so great to have you with us. Hopefully you're finding yourself successful, more successful than the Bills were last week, Dan.
Yeah, this is this is multiple vacations in a row that I've gone on. I'm looking forward to, a nice Bills Thursday night football game versus an opponent.
And then turn it off for the week.
Yeah,
the weekend.
and I'm immediately angry to start off my vacation. A couple years ago, I left the very first day I was on my vacation. I go every year around Thanksgiving. It just works with my personal schedule and kids' school, right? And it was that Denver game.
Oh, all right.
That was the first time that I was calling for Sean McDermott's head. And yeah, that continued this week. I'm sitting in there in Disney Springs, like these custom made Disney ears. I like them a lot, so I wore them.
You got those made in Disney?
That's I have a neighbor who makes these actually,
and
so yeah,
you guys were all wearing them.
Oh yeah.
So what went from being very
like
cool?
Fool.
Yeah, well, what went from being very cool looked very foolish.
I mean, just it just keeps happening, and the very first or second day of my vacation is just like I'm just angry for days.
More foolish than me sitting in the stadium in Houston and fans as they're basically walloping us, not curb stomping us, but they were getting after us pretty good.
Score wasn't, but it looked like on the field they were, didn't it?
Yeah, and the fans were just like, I don't understand why people in Buffalo even like this team and why they would drive to see it. And I was like, well, I was technically in Austin.
You at least had some fans with you. I was pretty alone.
Fair. Very, very fair. Well, let's get into it as far as that goes, as the Buffalo Bills are already in Pittsburgh to face the Pittsburgh Steelers tomorrow. I believe Aaron Rodgers is going to play in this football game. The Bills right now, as per FanDuel, are 3.5-point favorites. Is that right? It was 4.5 earlier in the week. It's now 3.5. But yeah, what do you got for us? What do you like in this football game, Dan?
I actually like quite a few things in this game. Almost none of them Bills related, because I can't put my name to this Bills team for betting, really.
Right.
It's frustrating. It really is.
Yeah.
But there's
you just don't know. You just don't know what you're going to get, right? Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things where it's like it's a mixed bag of who knows what's going to happen.
All right, let's share the screen right away, and let's go over here to. We're down to 3, which means some people are betting Pittsburgh. So who knows how that goes, right?
I literally just looked it up 5 minutes ago. It's already down another half point. Wow.
It was, so that means they actually have these, the Bills on even, at 6-point favorites, if it was neutral ground.
Yeah.
Let's go over to pass attempts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Rodgers, in his last 5 games he played, has 31, 35, 36, 34, and 30 pass attempts. How do we think this game goes? I don't think that he's going to be able to really throw the ball downfield a ton. I don't think they have a lot of speed at receiver, but they have Gainwell out of the backfield. They have Darnell Washington. They've got umpteen tight ends. They've got DK Metcalf, who he's got top end speed, but I don't think he's that quick, right? They just get completion after completion, or at least attempt after attempt, right?
Right.
And the Bills are very susceptible to dump offs and things along those lines. So one thing that I like here is Aaron Rodgers over 30.5 attempts. He doesn't have to complete all of them, but attempts specifically.
Nice.
Another thing that I kind of like is a player who's gone off 2 of the last, I think, 5 weeks or so. So Kenneth Gainwell has been a dud, or he's gone kind of nuts, and lately he's been a focal point of their offense. He's got a receiving line of 17.5 yards. Yet I think he had 7 receptions last week, 6 receptions the last time he played with Rodgers, and he had 88 yards receiving a couple weeks ago. So I think that line's extremely low. I took that. I'm actually going to slightly ladder that in 1 or 2 parlays as well.
Gotcha.
Now I'm going to go for a foolish home run. And everybody knows I like to try to get really good odds to where I don't have to hit so many bets. Kenneth Gainwell right now, backup running back, right? But he's playing kind of like their RB1 at times.
Right.
So I'm never going to touch his just over under in rushing yards because he could get 0, he can get 80.
Right.
In games that were relatively large. But if you were to go down to his alt line for receiving right now, alt line meaning you can change the amount that less or more. I like it for more here because it pays really well. The max amount that they're letting you bet on is 80 yards receiving for Kenneth Gainwell. Let's think about what the Bills do. The Bills give up dump pat whenever a opposing team wants to throw the ball to the running back in general, and they have a back who is known for catching passes out of the backfield. The Bills tend to give up a lot of receptions to that team, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you go to either Gainwell for receiving props on like a ladder or rushing props, 80 yards or more, plus 1280. Bills love giving up a ton of yards to backup running backs, right? Look what Tucker did to them. So
Right.
I took on our FanDuel account, I put a few units on 60, on 70, and 80 yards rushing on Gainwell. Not too much to break the bank, but if it hits, it's going to pay really well. And we give up backup running back yards for whatever reason, and Gainwell has been a focal point of their offense. So just looking at what pays really well, I thought that did. Now, maybe we'll actually do something with the Bills. In Josh Allen, we trust, right? It's maybe the only thing that I can really rely on these days in the Bills.
This is the worst pass defense, I think, or one of the worst pass defenses in the league. So
30th. We'll talk about the worst pass defense in the league later on in the show. They are 30th, right?
Gotcha. Okay.
Would you be shocked to know that the Buffalo Bills are the best pass defense in the league?
The best in the league?
Yes. Statistically, they are the best.
I would be shocked. Yes.
Okay. Well, here, let's just go over to a different screen. I pulled up today, including some fun ads that you get, but I pulled up all the total defense. I wanted to show people literally what I go through week by week by week. So here is total defense for everybody. Passing defense, yards allowed per game, the Buffalo Bills.
168.2.
Because they give up so many yards rushing. Right.
Yeah. Teams run against them. That's right.
Yeah, they just run all over them. The Browns, talk about the Browns as well later in the episode. They're a very good passing defense. Rushing defense, let's go way down here. Buffalo Bills. That's why.
30th, 148.9.
Yep.
Yeah, not great.
Passing defense again. Let's go to
32.
Steelers right there. So we've got Josh Allen. Josh Allen, who has gone over this number, I believe, 5 weeks in a row. Now, a lot of times because we've been losing, but
232.5 is the number.
232.5 yards passing for Josh Allen. I took that. And in a couple small parlays, I took Josh's number and I moved it up to like 275.
Yeah.
And I laddered a little for really good odds, combining with some other things we'll talk about later. So in total, we're going to go with Rodgers, 30.5 pass attempts. Gainwell for his 17.5 receiving yards. I'm just taking a home run shot on Gainwell rushing for huge numbers, and then Josh over 32.5 passing yards.
So those are the picks from that Bills game that you like, and this is a good opportunity for us to break down for any new listeners. Dan likes to bet in what he calls units, and he recommends that you do the same thing, that you assign a responsible monetary value per unit. So whether that's a penny, a nickel, a dime, a dollar, whatever it is, whatever you can afford to effectively lose, and not bet more than that 100 units. So basically when he says 2 units, 3 units, 5 units, that's how he's betting as far as on these games. Also, please bet responsibly. You don't have to bet, as Dan always likes to say, and if you need help, please seek it if you have a gambling problem. Now, for the overreaction bet. The overreaction bet, also for those that are new to the program, is the one that everybody else is jumping on that Dan doesn't like and wants you to stay away from because he feels like it's a setup. Dan, what you got?
Well, everybody's talking about always Christian McCaffrey, right? And who's his quarterback, Brock Purdy.
Brock Purdy, yep.
I don't think he looked very good whatsoever coming out after injury. I wouldn't be shocked if Mac Jones is the starting quarterback for that team. Maybe if they
Soon.
squeak into the playoffs. But I want to show again. Let's go over to this passing defenses, rushing and passing defense. Who was right after the Bills? The Cleveland Browns. They have a damn good defense.
Yeah, they've got a good defense.
They've cost us a whole bunch of money because we just think of the Browns and how they stink, blah, blah, blah,
Right.
blah, blah.
Right.
Myles Garrett is phenomenal, and he's all over
killing it.
I
think he's got 12 sacks or 12 plus sacks already this season.
He had 5 like 2 weeks ago, which is crazy in a game. We talked a few weeks. Let's get rid of some of these ads again. But we talked a few weeks ago about it is time to start paying attention to weather. Plain and simple. Weather matters a ton. And I've got the weather up for every game. It's literally on my computer screen at all times for my betting computer. And if you go over to the game that is Niners at Browns, 35 degrees, chance of precipitation, says rainy. What's going to happen in a football game that's 35 degrees, slushy, rainy versus the Cleveland Browns, a defense that is a stalwart?
They're going to run.
They're going to run the ball. Maybe they dump it off to McCaffrey, but they're going to be teeing off on that. I would think that they're going to be really double, triple covering Christian McCaffrey out of the backfield.
Right.
I am fading Brock Purdy. He was at anywhere from 199.5 to 200 yards. And again, guys, weather matters. There's some dome game this week, some dome games that I'm focusing in on. And then I'm taking some unders in, for instance, Jets-Falcons game right here. Cloudy, rainy, 83% chance of rain in New York City versus 2 bad offenses. Kirk Cousins. I'm going to be looking for every receiver in this game that has a decent over-under for yardage. I'm going to take the under. I might literally take every single player in this game's receiving under that's over like 25 yards. Just
Falcons, Jets. Falcons at Jets.
Falcons, Jets, yeah. 2 terrible offenses, 2 bad quarterbacks, and just terrible weather. So you can actually take and just layer player after player after player in a game like this and just bet under. Maybe 1, maybe 2 players go over their number. But if you bet 8 of them, you're going to hit a bunch.
Not 8 all at once, 8 in different rotations or different
different
combinations.
Say you're putting like 3 units on 8 different players. That'll be 24 of your 100 units you're willing to bet in the week. If 1 or 2 of those players go over, great. Okay, you lose a couple.
Right.
But the rest, it's going to be under across the board.
Yeah. So the overreaction, stay away from bet of the week. Fading Brock Purdy, stay away from Brock Purdy's numbers. Underreaction bet, the one that Dan likes the most, or one of the ones that Dan likes the most, that nobody's paying attention to. People are underreacting to it.
Another one of those not sexy names at all. Bucks defense, 27th in the league against the pass. 80 degrees, sunny, no rain whatsoever, playing the Arizona Cardinals. Jacoby Brissett is not a good NFL quarterback, but he throws the ball down the field.
He does like to throw.
He can get 4 picks a game, but if he's he got 450 yards 2 weeks ago.
Marvin Harrison Jr. is down there somewhere.
Yeah. Trey McBride, you're the only person. Your
McBride.
Fantasy team's got McBride against me. He's the only fantasy team I don't have him is our league. Over 266.5 passing yards for Jacoby Brissett. And I wanted to take an alt line that number with other things because I think he can go over 300. He can go over 350.
Right.
Really intriguing to me. You cannot find a Jacoby Brissett alt line anywhere. Like you cannot bet his 300 yards. You cannot bet his 325 yards like you can Josh Allen, like you can other people. And what does that tell you? That tells you that the books eliminated it because they think he can go nuts.
Okay.
So that was another sign for me to take that player.
Gotcha. Very good. So overreaction bet of the week, stay away from Brock Purdy for his over 199.5 passing yards. Underreaction bet of the week, Jacoby Brissett on the over of 266.5 as I'm having trouble speaking. And then the hammer bet of the week, the one that you need to be sprinkling into every single one of your parlays.
Hammer. I think that a lot of bettors across the board are going to be on this. This always concerns me, if there's a lot of volume on a bet. And prime time also concerns me. But there's just one bet this week that just jumps right off the page.
Mm.
The absolute worst rushing defense in the entire NFL is the Giants.
Yep.
They're playing the Patriots, and we've got Travion Henderson at a line of 63.5 rushing yards, which he's hit a majority of weeks for the last month. He's now really coming into their RB1. I cold weather. I believe that's supposed to be about 35 degrees, no precipitation, but just like a ground and pound football game. I expect them to kind of run all over the Giants and really not have to do much to win that football game.
I drafted Travion Henderson in all 3 of my fantasy leagues, and it just was Vrabel would not play him. Would not. And I finally just let him go in all 3 leagues, I think, in the same week. And then it was like 2 weeks later, he came to life.
So this just happens all the time with like that early second round draft pick running back where they
think he was a first, wasn't he? But yes, go ahead to your point.
So
go ahead.
You've got Jonathan Taylor his rookie year. He did absolutely nothing, and then he won everybody their league the second half of the season.
Yes.
These guys, or James Cook, what did he do early? Nothing. Then they started playing him later on in the season, and he starts going off towards the second half of the year. It seems to take.
You're right. Second round pick. Sorry. Go ahead. Yep.
Seems to take like 6 to 8 weeks for some of these guys to maybe be trusted for fumbles or to get. I think a lot of it also has to do with the protection schemes in general.
Right.
Which going back to protection schemes, ironically, that's one of the things I really wanted to discuss, or at least talk about with the Bills. Going back to that, they're not going to have both their tackles, right?
No, they are not. So for those that don't know, so Spencer Brown and Deion Dawkins have been ruled out of this game. We're going to get Ryan Vandermark and Alex Anderson or Tylen Grable, who was just activated off of the IR.
Do we really think they're going to play Grable when he hasn't played all season much? He's an emergency tackle, in my opinion.
So, to that point, Alec Anderson played right tackle at UCLA, actually with Bruno Fina, John Fina's son, who is now at Duke and finishing up his college career at Duke. Didn't really translate, they felt, the draft Knicks, him coming into the NFL as a tackle. And as much as he's played that 6th offensive lineman spot, which is basically a jumbo tight end, I have concerns about him playing right tackle against a defense like this, TJ Watt and whoever else is out there pinning their ears back against him. So I'm a little worried.
I have concerns about both their tackle positions, right?
Yeah.
So I think the Bills got overly confident in how their tackles were playing and what were they doing against Houston. I understand Spencer Brown was hurt. How do you put him out there for 4 drives longer than he should have been? But okay, then they leave Deion on an island out there. Versus Will Anderson, and maybe he was concussed mid-game, and that had something to do with it. I have no idea, but he looks slow.
There was a play where the play that Spencer Brown got injured on, Connor McDermott was injured as well, and I am not kidding you because I was on the visitor sideline, the Bills sideline, and where they came off the field was lined up perfectly with where I was sitting. When McGovern came off the field, he was wobbling and stumbling all over the place, and I was like, he's done. He's got to be concussed, and he went right back in on the next drive, and I was like, oh, maybe not.
I didn't see that just from watching from a bar in Disney Springs, but I didn't know anything about that. But obviously, I saw Spencer Brown. I'm live tweeting the game after the first drive. How's he in the game? He's using one arm, and they just kept him out there. But back to the point, what I was getting at is we've left everyone on an island all season long. We have not implemented like real protection schemes. We've not implemented. Josh on a play action, you shift the line to like rotate him. They've done that for years, and it's just not happening. They have to now, right? And I think that actually could help some of the Bills' offensive numbers because they have to focus in on doing some of the basics for offensive line protection, and maybe they practice this week. They're just protection schemes and hard counts and anything that has to do with slide protection and going back to fundamentals there when they looked rusty on just knowing who's blocking who for the last couple of weeks. And I think that can help. And I think that's maybe going to get us some backs out of the backfield. How about a Bills running back chips and then catches a pass? Is that allowed?
You're all up in John Fina's grill because John
this guy saw my tweets and stole them. I'm telling you.
Is that what it is? Yeah, because this has been part of a lot of the Overreaction Sports Network chatter this week while you've been on vacation in Disney World. This has been
I'm
a lot of what
screaming these
people.
things like mid game. Like it's
Right,
so
right.
blatantly obvious. If I, an absolute nobody in football, somebody who's just watched it my whole life, can see these things blatantly, how does our
Yeah,
coaching staff not?
yeah. It's interesting because on the post game show, John Fina actually talked about the fact that when you start chipping, or when you're actively chipping those edge rushers who are coming free, not free, but pinning their ears back and winning a lot. As soon as you begin to chip them, the edge rushers start to peek to see if the chip is coming or if a player's coming to
They're
chip
not
them, which
coming all at you. Yeah.
right, they're automatically slowing them down. He said, and also by the third and fourth quarter, you've worn them out because you're hitting them every single time you're throwing the ball. You're hitting them again. He was baffled as to why we didn't see a chip until I think the fourth quarter of that
Yeah.
football game.
So we have to now. We
Yeah,
have to implement a game plan that does that. And I think that's going to simplify our offense a little bit. I wanted to bet Ty Johnson. So if I don't know if anybody really looks at the stats. Over the last 5 games, our second best receiver is Ty Johnson.
right, right.
You can't find a Ty Johnson bet right now on FanDuel.
Really,
That was going to be one of the 3 players that I took, and he's
that's
just not
surprising.
available.
That's
So
surprising. Well, moving on. Other bets that Dan likes this week for your parlay efficiencies. I don't even know what the word I'm looking for is there, but yeah, other bets you like.
I don't know what you're trying to say there. I like. I think the Patriots just win that game relatively easily versus the Giants, just because one of their strengths is just ground and pounding the football, and the Giants are terrible at it.
Right.
The Rams versus Carolina. J.C. Horn's out of the game. That's
Mm,
so huge. Like, at least Carolina had a chance to compete a little bit and make it close. J.C. Horn's their best defensive player. He's one of the best corners in the league. He's out. So I really like Stafford in that game. I like Puka Nakua in that game.
mm.
Now that J.C. Horn's out, but I took the Patriots and Rams, either their money lines or teased in a few spots, and then I didn't do it with everyone, but I added the Broncos versus Washington in there, kind of getting near, like almost at a pick 'em with a tease for them.
Yeah.
Um, in case something were to happen with Henderson, he fumbles early, they pull him out of the game, or he's not adjusting well to the weather, because that's a
Hmm.
factor. I did hedge Travion Henderson by putting a little bit of a couple bets in on Stevenson. He
Yep.
was their RB1 for kind of half the season.
Yep.
So, in his line's
Till,
pretty
till he
low
got
too.
till he got injured. Till he got injured. Right.
And then, yeah, of course. And then Henderson just kind of took over. But say, for instance, they're crushing him.
Hmm.
Stevenson's going to go in there. And he's going to get some rushing. I think there's a chance both those running backs just go over. So then again, Puka over 88.5 receiving, Stafford over 257.5 passing. JSN is just absolutely on fire. He's hit
Can't be
over
stopped.
100.
Can't be
He can't
stopped.
be
Yeah.
stopped.
Can't be
So
stopped.
all these players right here, Puka, Stafford, JSN, and then going up back to Josh Allen and our hammer Travion Henderson. I've put in a couple parlays that involve taking all those players and outlining them down just a notch or two and getting really good payouts if they all hit just a little under their lines. And
Gotcha.
then the Chargers are playing in a dome versus the Raiders. The Raiders are awful.
Oh, awful.
Lad McConkey's had 5 or 6 receptions versus them for like every game he's ever played versus them, and his over under is 4.5 receptions. And then 51.5 receiving yards, which he's also hit every game versus the Raiders ever that he's played versus
Hmm.
them.
Gotcha.
Somebody else that I would have also outlined down to like 40 yards and added him into some of the parlays with these players as well.
Good stuff, Dan. I don't think I need to go over it. You were very thorough in your description as far as what all that you are going to be taking this weekend. Any final comments before I kind of get us out of here for the evening?
Got to stack wins. I mean, I do think
Yeah.
this coaching staff, they had 10 days. That's huge. When they have extra time to prepare, it's almost like the basic things they have to do in a game to win, they touch when they have extra time to prepare.
Mm-hmm.
They've had 10 days to prepare. The Steelers are one of the worst defenses in the league. If we don't go out there and at least put like 24 points on the board and look like we can move the ball, I don't care whose the weapons are. You have Josh Allen. You have a very good interior offensive line. You have to be able to move the ball against one of the worst defenses in the league. I understand they have TJ Watt, But
and Hayward, Cam Hayward, right?
Cam Hayward's a monster up the middle. Spread them out. What happened to the Cook pitch? Like, they came out of the Carolina game and they just did that every play. I was at that game. Every play. Cook pitch,
I think teams caught. I think teams caught up to it. The halfback pitch, the pitch out, it's not a play that's widely used in the NFL because linebackers are so fast. That's why that Carolina Panthers game was such a fun game to watch, because they were throwing that pitch out like every other play and they were having crazy success on it. So the Bills clearly saw something out of the Carolina Panthers linebacking group that they thought that they could exploit and beat, and they did. But generally, a team with a good linebacking group, you're not going to be able to get that done.
But when you completely abandon a play that worked,
true, you're not necessarily. But they won't abandon the wide receiver screen to Khalil.
The next thing that was coming out of my mouth, like, if you're going to just beat to death a wide receiver screen or that halfback dive by James Cook, the same play. It's the same play. They're not doing anything different.
Right.
You're not going to go back to something that actually worked a bunch and do it once or twice in the game.
There was a time, I don't remember who the head coach was, but there was a time back in the day, maybe been Dick Duran. I don't remember who the coordinator was, but my dad and I would have a joke that basically they would run a play that would work and then they would never run it again. It's like, that one worked, and they'd throw it away, crumble it up, throw it away.
We got a comment to discuss. Mike Laz, he mentioned on a sports book we don't talk about on this show, there's a Ty Johnson line of 11.5. I love that. I mean, he's literally
11.5 over under
receiving yards. Yeah.
Oh, I think he beats that.
Yeah, I would be crushing that, but it's not available on FanDuel. He's literally our second leading receiver in the last half of the season, and we don't have Kincaid. We probably don't have Palmer. Half the other dudes are on IR. We're implementing new guys in the system. What's Josh going to do? Go to what he knows, and
got it. Well, with that, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Good luck this weekend to everybody that's going to be betting units on football games, on NFL football games. Hopefully you have some fun with that. Don't overbet. You don't have to bet. Bet within your limits. Pay your rent. Make sure there's food on your table for you and your kids. Make sure your car payment's paid. All that good stuff. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning into NFL Week 13 of Mafia Bets on the Overreaction Sports Network, presented by FanDuel. What do we got coming up this week? So tomorrow, Sunday, live post-game, probably 9 o'clock, the Overreaction post-game show after Bills Steelers at 4. Is it 4:05, 4:15 when that game starts? Monday, Monday, the off tackle with John Salen's off tackle with John Fina show. Tuesday is On the Beat. This week we've got I can see his face. You got to be kidding me. It's totally oh well. We've got an On the Beat program this weekend. It'll come to me in 2 seconds. And then, of course, Wednesday, 7 days to Sunday with Jerry Ostrowski and Zig Fracassi. But for me, for John, for Jerry, for Dan, for Anth, and for Zig, we appreciate you guys. We love you. Go Bills.
Let's go, Bills.
Go Bills.